But your armor requirements are, as far as what areas you have to have protected, are exactly the same. You have to have your neck protected, you have to have your head protected, your elbows, your kidneys, and your knees. And obviously, if you're a male, you have to wear a cup and your gender specific, protection. The other thing that you have to wear is a demi-gauntlet on your sword hand at least. On your shield hand, unless you have a shield basket, we can get into this a little more extensively at the Monday night practices where you can see some examples. All that's necessary if you don't have a shield basket is a hockey glove with a rigid thumb. That's it. Again, play it against sports. I hate to keep reiterating that, but a lot of equipment you can get there on the cheap. And again, this is for people who need to get stuff so that they can get out there fighting as quickly as possible. I made this one. It's pretty simple to make. I have the pattern if you want the pattern. And it's a simple process of putting it together. I have mine riveted with several straps that you can come up here and take a look at, but it basically keeps your wrist protected. And when you have your van brace on, any shots that you're taking in here to the wrist, you're well covered. I also had some elbows made. This is the kind that I wear under my shield. You have to have rigid material covering all 3 points of your elbow on your shield side. This is vacuum formed plastic, and I have the foam padding already attached. The lacing holds it in place. And once you slide it on, it goes over and covers your elbow fine. If you want your shoulders protected, you can get little spalders, and these will attach to the shoulders like this, and that'll cover the cap of your shoulder. It's a good thing to have, especially when you're beginning. When you start to advance in your skill, your armor is going to change. Like I said, when I first started, I had a solid plate. Then I went to the lighter stuff. Then I went back to plate, mostly because this was for my persona. Another reason is that as my skill level increased, people started hitting me harder. And I was getting hit in places I wasn't accustomed to getting hit. As people are taking it easy on you, you're not going to get hit in the ribs. But when they say, okay, well, he's fighting a lot better, I need to hit him and kill him fast, you start getting hit in places that you're not used to. So your armor is going to change over time, back and forth. Another thing you could do to cover your breastplate, this is ABS plastic covered in velvet. Real easy to make. We have several different patterns going around the Barony. It's comfortable. You can wear it on the outside, on a tabard. Still looks like a nice piece of armor. Nobody would know it was plastic until they take it off. You can actually use any color velvet that you want, especially if you want to do it in your heraldry that you're thinking of, at least in those colors. This covers the back. This covers the front. It's a very simple thing to have. And last but not least, this was my first set of legs. These were aluminum. Again, you can see where the aluminum is great for about a year or two. After that, it's not so good. But you can also see, if you compare the two legs side by side, this is my shield side. This is my sword side where nobody really hit me. If you compare, one is a little more narrow than the other. Mostly is because it got bent, dinged, and things, and I had to bend it back where it was supposed to be. But these just got to the point where they were falling apart. The design of these, at least, what I liked about this, a lot of people have trouble hanging their legs off of their hips. For those who have been fighting for a long time, back when the SCA was towards the beginning, that's the only way they knew. So for them, that's very comfortable. For me, who came in much later, I hated it. Can't stand hanging things off my hips. So, I have a slightly different transition from that. I don't have thigh protection. All I have is just pad. It's just a cotton batting with linen and canvas. Oops, excuse me. Sorry about that. This has a weight belt attached to it. This isn't rigid enough to protect your kidneys. What it is good for is keeping your lower back warm. When you're wearing heavy stuff on your shoulders, anytime you're out there, keeping your lower back warm, especially when you're getting to my age, when you're young and springy and rubbery, that's great, but when you're starting to get old and decrepit, keeping your joints warm and movable is a nice thing to have. So, the reason why I have these is it's lighter. It's a lot cooler in the summer. My knees are still protected. These are stainless. They cover my entire knee, but it's light. It's lighter than those are, and it's not as heavy as stainless steel knees with the full cuisse. These are what they would consider or call padded cuisses. Full cuisse would have either the ABS plastic covered in velvet or leather, or either stainless or aluminum. Those are pretty hefty, and it starts to wear on your hips. If you've ever worn a gun belt or anything like that, you know that wearing weight on your hips. Over an hour or two, it starts to kind of get a little uncomfortable, starts to dig into your hip bone, and you're like, and when you're fighting, you want to be comfortable. So I went to these, and I don't have those issues. Questions?
What do you use for footwear?
Footwear, I wear actually Roper boots. The company that makes them is called Wolverine. It's doesn't have any shoelaces on it or anything. It just slides it on. But they don't look like your standard Ropers or cowboy boots or anything of that nature. But it looks nice. It gives a period appearance without having to deal with period issues. Like period shoes don't have any support in them. The soles aren't made for the kind of activity that we're doing on the field. They look beautiful. What some people have done is they have a period shoe, they've taken it to the cobbler, and they have vibrant soles put on. So you have sufficient grip, they've had insoles put inside of them. It's a completely period shoe, they just had some additions put on. You can do that. It's very simple. I'm working on, some people wear cleats and just cover them. I'm working on a period cover for cleats, so that I have serious foot issues when I'm fighting several hours every day, such as you would be at Pennsic. Because you're out there and you're walking up and down hills, you're running across fields, you're in your armor almost 8 hours. From the time you muster and go down to the field to the time you come back up to your camp. And every single year, the only year I didn't have a problem is I wore high-top boots. But every single year since then, my feet have been killing me. So I said, I think this year I'm going to wear some cleats and make some covers so that they look pretty. So tournaments, those shoes don't give me an issue. But when you're fighting all day long, it's terrible. Any other questions?
So what are we looking at, like,
Investment-wise?
investment-wise, yeah, for a college student?
If you do it, where you're gonna make, like a kidney protection like this and go with the sporting gear that goes under a tabard, something that's not gonna be visible. For the equipment alone, you may spend $100. Your helmet, on the other hand, is what's going to cost you. Mine ended up costing me $475, and I'm still not happy with it. The one that I do want cost me almost $1,000.